Okay, so do me a favor, we're gonna play a little game here. When I mention Iron Man, you probably picture a dude in the Iron Man suit. You probably picture Robert Downey Jr. When I say Captain America, you probably picture Captain America played by Chris Evans. Now, when I say Marvel Civil War, you probably picture Captain America Chris Evans versus Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Okay, now imagine a film that was based on Civil War, the movie based on the comic book where Captain America and Iron Man fight one another, except now imagine that the film almost didn't have Iron Man. So it's crazy to think about that concept. It's like, yeah, Iron Man versus Captain America is Civil War. Yes, Civil War 2 was different, but of course that was a follow-up to the comic event. In my mind, you can't really do Civil War without these two characters, but as it turns out, we recently found out that this actually almost turned out to be a scenario. Now, not only was it gonna be just without Iron Man, we almost didn't even have Spider-Man in the film as well. So Kevin Feige, which I will link in the description down below, recently opens up about how they were cutting it down to the wire on Civil War, and they were actually writing scripts that didn't involve Iron Man because Robert Downey Jr. had not signed on for the film just yet. Now, of course, with that, and Spider-Man not being a guarantee yet, could you guys actually try to imagine a Civil War film without Robert Downey Jr.? Like, in my mind, that just seems kind of insane because it's the two characters' ideals that go up against each other in the comic. And of course, yes, the movie bent what Civil War was to play more in favor of the live-action version in the MCU, which honestly I've been saying works in a lot of regards when it comes to these movies because they do have to take certain liberties and, change certain things because what works in a comic does not necessarily work in a film. So with that in mind, if you really think about it, had he not signed on, they already had contingency plans for other characters to do that, which that would be interesting. Now, at the same time, when you think about this whole Civil War concept, the fact that Spider-Man was still something that they had to kind of, figure out as they were writing the scripts, and then as he reveals, then they got Robert Downey Jr., but they still didn't have Spider-Man. Like, he wasn't a guarantee yet, and it would keep shifting whether they would land towards some sort of agreement or not before the final contract and before the idea was made. They were kind of just left in the dark. So it gives you an interesting idea of just exactly how that film, even after it was announced, was in such a different position than what we ended up seeing as the final product. And who knows what could have been, and who knows what other things might have been considered, or some of the other versions. I mean, maybe this kind of makes sense towards why they want to introduce Captain Marvel in Age of Ultron, maybe set her up as a villain, or the opposing side, but who really knows?